Alright, what's going on, guys? Beastars chapter 190. We will be stars. Alright, let's get right into it. So because Gosha corroded the wall, the various herbivores are looking into the black market alley, and they look very shocked. And there's even a turkey walking by, and he sees a store that sells live turkeys. And she looks like she's in a state of shock. And right when that's going on, we got a carnivore just zoom right into the scene, and he starts smashing everything with a baseball bat. And then he claims when this is going on, and various other carnivores join him in the wreckage, that they do not want to eat herbivores. They do not want to eat meat. It's sort of a choice based on their metabolism and their physical needs. So they're going to town on the various black market alley stores that sell meat, which makes me wonder, yes, this sort of looks good in terms of, virtue signaling. However, you are destroying people's businesses. Now, if they're insured, I suppose they'll get that money back, but they've spent years building up those various shops. You know, they've probably dedicated a lot of hours, sweat, tears into that business, and you're just destroying it within seconds. Kind of reminds me of the riots right now, you know, you're taking out your aggression on the wrong people. So, I mean, I feel like there's better ways this could have been handled, but it is what it is. They want to look good in front of the herbivores, kind of like people do on Facebook when they're virtue signaling, but that's another matter. So anyway, they're smashing a lot of the shops. Which I should say, I mean, I don't agree with the method, but I do agree with Paru's choice to portray it this way because she's trying to demonstrate that the animal society and that human society are susceptible to the same emotions and the same outrage, which is a good thing. It shows that by and large, when you get people in a group, in a crowd, mob mentality takes over and people allow their rage and their emotions to take control of their actions. And they don't think in the clearest way possible. They don't formulate plans. They just sort of act. And they just sort of allow the moment to take hold of them and allow their base emotions to lead the way, which, you know, if you want to reconstruct the world, probably not the best way possible. You know, anarchy usually just leads to a failed state, and then that's fertile ground for a dictator to take control, who's usually worse than the past government. Just saying, there are several examples out there. But anyway, back to Beastars. And then we transition back over to Melon and Legoshi. Now, it's a little bit confusing at first because in the previous manga chapter, we had Legoshi on top of Melon, and Melon was telling him to finish it. And now it's the reverse situation. It's Melon on top of Legoshi, and he looks like he's choking him out and beating him up. And I guess it's because Legoshi does not want to kill Melon. He's taken a pacifist approach and he doesn't want to kill anyone. And because Melon's the only one willing to kill Legoshi, it looks like Melon's the only one that can win this battle, or so it would appear. Now before that, we see the little critters from the quiz show. He's writing on a whiteboard, and he's writing down the various gang members, the Shishigumi, the Inaragumi, the Dokugumi, the Madaragumi, and he's like, what's the gray wolf's name? Now Louie is standing there, and he's saying Legoshi, but the guy starts writing a B on the whiteboard, and he finishes off by writing Beastar. And Louie has a look of shock on his face. So are they implying that Legoshi's going to be the next Beastar? How are they determining this? Are they the ones that bestowed Yafia the title of Beastar? Or is it the previous Beastar that determines that? Is it Yafia that has to choose his replacement? We don't really know. So it's kind of confusing. I mean, if I had to guess, I still think Louie could be the next Beastar, but maybe it will be a co-Beastar, maybe it will be Legoshi and Louie, kind of in the way that Yafia and Gosha were aiming to be co-Beastars, but it never came to fruition, but maybe this time it will. So anyway, we transition over to the fight between Melon and Legoshi. It looks like Melon's got the upper hand, and he's egging on Legoshi that they should kill each other right here and now because the herbivores join the audience. There's a lot of people watching, so it's time for the climax. However, Louie enters the scene, and he's abdicating for a pacifist approach. He's saying, hey, look, this is not a battle to the death. This is a turf war. And in a very pivotal scene, Melon is all confused and he's a little bit frantic right now, and he's got that bloodlust going through his veins. And Louie is talking in a very placid, calm tone, and he's like, look around you, Melon. This is not the same black market alley as before. People are more peaceful. This is a new time. This is a new generation. We changed it. And then he says, let's settle this, Melon, in the name of Beastars. So that's implying that Legoshi and Melon will be the co-Beastars if they're able to defeat Melon, and they will take the role from Yafia. Now, this is very fascinating because now Yafia's role as the Beastar was sort of a superhero, Batman-esque kind of character, how he would patrol the city, search for assailants, and sort of clean up the filth. Now, his approach was more beat him up and force him into submission. However, we know his approach was a failed one because people in the black market alley treated him as if he was the devil. They even wrote it in graffiti. He's the black devil, Yafia. But maybe instead of fighting crime, instead of beating people to a pulp and using their bones as fertilizer for your garden, which seems like a bad idea from the outset, maybe Louie and Legoshi have a better approach. Maybe they're going to reform the black market alley, make it more palatable to society. Interesting choice of word there. And make it so it's not so much a hidden reality. Make it more open, like, hey, the carnivores need to do this. They don't want to, but based on their physiological needs, they need to ingest meat. And let's make it more a part of society, and let's find better ways so that they don't feel like outcast and they don't feel like they're criminals. Let's make sure that they're ingratiated into society in a way where they feel like they're full-fledged members and not like these dark, shady characters. So that would be my guess. But you never know. Melon might go crazy. He might attack Louie in a fit of rage, and he might end up killing Legoshi, because if Melon were to attack Louie with killer's intent, I think Legoshi would jump in the way trying to save Louie, saying, hey, you've always been the model that everyone looks up to. I'm just a guy. I'm just a pervy wolf in love with a white rabbit. You know, you need to live on. You need to change this society. Much in the way that the Dark Knight movie had Christian Bale, the Batman, sort of looking towards Harvey Dent as like the white knight, as the savior of society. However, that kind of went sideways. So maybe this will be the actual realization of that Louie will go on and he will sort of reform society via political means. Who knows? Very interesting chapter, and a great one at that, guys. I absolutely loved it. The scene with Louie saying we changed it was a fantastically drawn manga panel. I absolutely loved it. What a great chapter. And I feel like that conclusion is finally coming, but who the heck knows at this point? We might get another 5 or 10 chapters. I mean, it's anyone's guess, but great chapter, guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the flip side.